sit here and awkward silence. You just watch me eat my. It's really good actually. Unfortunately, it is a candy. I thought it was like a healthy, like a peanut bar, but it's so much sugar in it. It may as well be.
Last thing I do before I go back to my cave for a year.
Oh. GMO. Can you hear me, Rod? All right. How's everyone's weekend been?
Great. Good. Terrific. Thanks. Somebody picked up on that. Great Con is down the street.
Who's finished the Defenders yet?
Really?
Wow.
Something else going on this week?
That's great. I need to watch things like slowly over time. Like I can watch 2 episodes maximum. But cool. Thanks. Thanks for watching. I don't think superheroes can though.
I won't say anything because we'll have to be in.
Where do you want to put this?
Whoever wants to sit there. I'm trying to figure out lights. That's all.
There we go.
There you go.
I can't say that.
Oh, here she goes, Diva. Is that allowed on?
All right.
You're a small what?
All right, folks. We saved the best for last, as they say. It's almost the end of 2017 TerrifiCon, and we couldn't leave without getting you folks a special treat. So, if you haven't heard, there's a little show called The Defenders this afternoon. This weekend. And the folks that were in Iron Fist also popped up in that one too. And we said, hey, they're downstairs, so I guess folks might want to hear them. So, we're going to turn it over to them in just a second. Your moderator is the man who's been doing this for 4 years now? 4 years here. Mr. Joe Stuber, who does an excellent podcast out there called Comic Book Central, where comic books come to life. He interviews every actor, writer, star, director from every comic book-based movie and TV show for the last 60, 70 years.
Forever, yeah.
Forever. So if you want a great podcast, go out there and listen to it. It's called Comic Book Central. It's fantastic. There's how many episodes now?
Coming up on 200.
200. So he's going to have 200 episodes. But you folks are in for a great treat because you're going to see him live, just like a rock star. So he's going to interview Miss Jessica Henwick, who plays the lovely Colleen Wing on Iron Fist and House of Cards. And of course, Iron Fist himself, Mr. Finn Jones here. And I won't see you folks until next year. I just want to thank you once again to come to TerrifiCon. This is the reason why I do this. Don't tell my wife. I just do it because I have low self-esteem. I need for you people to make me feel good about myself. So take it away, Mr. Stuber and the cast of the movie.
The volunteers as well. All the volunteers have worked so hard. You guys have the last year?
Look, we were talking Iron Fist, we're talking Defenders. We might get some Game of Thrones
why not?
discussion, and we're there. Maybe a little Star Wars action too. So first thing I got to ask you, how's your chi?
My chi? It's pretty good actually. It's pretty level. It feels good. I've been meeting a lot of really nice people, a lot of support, a lot of love here at the convention. So I say my chi is very highly balanced.
It's right there. Okay, so we're good because it wasn't when you started off the show. It was a little off. So.
Oh, well, that was about the character. Yeah, the Daddy's chi was all over the place when he first got back to New York.
Now I have to ask you both. Did you get a chance to meet up with Iron Fist creator Roy Thomas?
Yeah, I did.
This
I saw him
weekend.
yesterday.
Okay,
Got a
so
picture.
it's not often you get to meet your creator. You go through again, like I did in an earlier panel. I don't want to get
Very
existential
spiritual.
here. Yeah, it's a very spiritual thing. Did you have any questions? Did either of you have any questions for him, kind of coming into this?
I don't think actually Roy did Colleen. I don't think he was.
Not yours, but
Yeah,
you're creating
so
the whole
I
creating
didn't
the
actually.
character environment.
I mean, I only saw him for a couple minutes, but yeah.
Because when he created the character too, you think, I mean, Danny ran in, I don't know if you saw the first appearance, but he kind of had everything all together. when you're coming in.
Yeah,
So
even the outfit. He came straight out, come on, and he's superhero.
Walking around
Already
in
had-
spandex.
Yeah,
They already had the spandex,
I'm
already had
here.
the mask.
Where did he find spandex in Kunlun?
There could have been an outlet.
I
There could
doubt
have been an
it.
outlet mall, I have no
There's a
idea.
wall. No, he
This-
stitched it himself.
There's could have been. So congratulations for on season 2 announced for Iron Fist. So that has to be great news for you, knowing that you've got the pickup and now you can relax and everything's
We're not
fine.
relaxing. We're going straight into training next week as soon as we get back. So it's
Well, this
pretty grueling.
as we speak, Defenders is on right now. So has anybody binge watched all of it? So wow, look at that. That's
Nice.
okay. Well, I'll tell you this, I've not had a chance. We're going to try and keep it.
Who started it and not finished it? Right.
We're gonna try and
that's
keep
about half.
it. Yeah, we're gonna try and keep it spoiler free for you, because especially since I would like to watch it as well and not have it completely spoiled for me. I've been a little busy this weekend. But you guys have just been going back to back to back through all this. Have you had any break between Iron Fist and Defenders coming through at all?
No, I've kind of been on the road and doing this stuff for about maybe just over a year and a half now. I started Iron Fist in March last year. Then I went straight into Defenders after filming, straight into it. And then after Defenders, I went to an Iron Fist press tour. And then after that press tour, now I've gone straight into Defenders press tour. And now I go straight into season 2 of Iron Fist.
Yeah. And then
Marvel.
and just-
Working hard.
Yes.
I literally had just about enough time to fly to Belfast to film Game of Thrones. And
Yeah.
that was pretty much it. It was.
And then you went on to do another film as well.
And then I did a film immediately. No, not
After Defenders.
After Defenders. Yeah.
You weren't 100% sure you were going to be able to get Game of Thrones in or get the conclusion of your character, correct? I mean, that was a little touch and go there for a while.
Basically, they rang me and they were like, "These are the dates that we film," and I said, "Well, that's the exact same date that I film." But I really wanted to do it because I said, if you can't make it to Belfast, we're just going to have to, your character's going to have to disappear, and it will leave the fans wondering. And a part of me was like, ooh, because obviously, with the exception of this current season, everyone was going, what happened to Henwick? He just rode off the boat, and he just disappeared for like 3 or 4
I
seasons.
said, it's not completely foreign to that show that somebody just disappears, right?
And so I
I
was
mean-
like, maybe I should leave the door open, but there's only 1 season left, and I wanted the fans to have closure and know what happens to her. I didn't want her to just disappear or even be recasted. I don't think that was an option, but better to be safe than sorry. So my agent and I tried really hard, and thankfully Marvel were considerate enough to give me just enough time over like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and basically it got down to the stage where I would fly to Belfast, have a costume fitting, and get back on a plane back to New York. And it was like 4 or 5 trips in total. Just going back, training, fly back to and keep filming Iron Fist, come on the weekend. It was hard.
One of the things I like about that character too is that, and you just saw mention here, we're both on the Indie cast, we're both huge Indiana Jones fans. So, I mean, I know you've had katana training, I know you've done all these different weapons training, but you got a bullwhip
I did both.
for that character. Okay, so did you watch a lot of Raiders of the Lost Ark? Did you, I mean, how well did you do in real life with the bullwhip training, and did you
I-
get hurt?
I did get hurt. I whipped myself in my rear, in the bottom. And I also got the cracker right across my face, and I was very lucky not to get scarred. And I was very lucky that it didn't hit me in the eye. I mean, I had protective goggles on, but yeah, I trained really hard, and I did do some research to try and see what has been seen before. And for me, I kind of thought, oh, you really just see this sort of general forward crack, and I kind of wanted to do something different, so I started watching this YouTuber. His name is Adam. I think his name is Adam Win something, but he's a famous YouTuber bullwhip specialist. And so I was watching his tutorials and trying
You
to
did your bullwhip training from YouTube?
from YouTube.
Actually, YouTube's a really great place to
Right, but
also.
don't you have a bullwhip trainer?
I had a trainer, but he was in
Okay, so it
Belfast.
wasn't just YouTube.
He was in Belfast, and so I would fly out. I'd have 1 session with him, and then I have 2 weeks where I have to just, self-motivate. And YouTube was a really valuable resource.
Yeah.
Did you get as good as Harrison Ford? Like, because sometimes we see him,
I
and
think
he'll
I'm
just
much
like.
better than Harrison Ford. I think
Okay, all right.
I don't think
He's
you
had a
can
lot
do
of
that.
experience.
I don't think you can do that much with a bullwhip.
Okay. I'm not going to argue with you because I've seen you with a katana, so you're not going to get any arguments from me at all. And then Finn, I'll talk about a little bit about your experience with Game of Thrones. 'Cause a few more episodes on there. You were on there for a little bit longer time.
Yeah, I was
so,
on the show for 6 years.
yeah. So I mean, what was your experience like? I mean, where all did you film at? I mean, how much of a grueling production schedule that compared to even Iron Fist?
It's not even comparable. I mean, Game of Thrones was a holiday. It was a holiday. We went to Croatia especially. Yeah, you can't even compare the two, but Game of Thrones was great. I was on that show for 6 years. I met a lot of really great people, great friends, and it was really something that, as a person, as an actor, I kind of grew through certain stages of my life with that character, as I'm sure I will do with Iron Fist. So it was I had a great time with the character. Sure.
What kind of kids were both of you? What were your influences coming up? Because we know we love all these Marvel characters, we love the DC characters, and those are sort of things that influence our life. Growing up, were either of you comic book readers? Did you like action adventure films? What were the things that inspired you? Not at all.
I used to read X-Men just so that I could copy out the drawings, because I thought that they were so beautiful. And so I got really into that when I was a teenager, and I used to read like manga and stuff like that. I was super into action adventure films. I loved Labyrinth, and I would consider that an adventure. Kind of action, maybe adventure. I had a VHS and I broke it. I watched it so many times, and my dad was really mad because I had recorded over one of his cricket matches. So yeah, I was super into genre stuff when I was a kid. I still am.
Yeah, I was really into Labyrinth. Dark Crystal was one of my favourite films. I wasn't really into the whole action genre. Didn't read comic books growing up.
Were you into sports? I mean, what were the
No,
kind
I
of things
wasn't into sports either.
that you dug?
I was really into music as a kid.
Girls.
Girls, music.
What kind of music?
I like to be out in nature actually. I like to go and go to the woods and ride my bike and do all that kind of stuff. I was an outdoorsy person.
Okay.
I still am. So I didn't really spend too much time watching movies or television or anything like that. Really, I love music a lot. I really like Studio Ghibli films.
Yeah, love Studio Ghibli films.
They're really great.
Right.
Now, how
But it's
did?
interesting because that has such a
no.
like a nature theme throughout all his films.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It's all about the environment and
Yeah,
being
spirit,
globally
yeah.
aware and conscious, and
Yeah,
so that's
yeah.
actually really
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, this sort of plays into the Danny Rand thing too. There's the spiritual and one with nature and all this. So you must really get into those things.
Yeah,
So
I-
well, hopefully we get more as we go forward.
Definitely will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we definitely will.
Have you been fans of the Marvel? I don't know, I'm going to say because there's so much out there now. It's like the Marvel movies. We've got the Netflix movies. We got the Marvel TV stuff.
Yeah, I never actually watched any Marvel films.
It's okay. This is a safe place. There's no judgment.
Yeah, exactly. All the cameras that are on.
You are Iron Fist, so it's okay. You're bringing it to life now.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I didn't. No.
That's okay.
I'm more a documentary person as well. I prefer documentaries to like fictional films.
Yeah. And then Jessica, did you?
I'd seen the Netflix like Dead of Season 1, 2, Jessica Jones, and then when it came out, I saw something.
Yeah, I saw Devil.
Okay, so you did catch it.
But I actually saw Devil after I was cast as scientist.
Did you start going back and binging?
You felt
that?
guilty.
Yeah, I know. I'm with these guys in Defenders. I should probably tell I watched their show or something. Yeah. So how did?
And I saw a Captain America once. One of the good ones.
Could you be a little more specific?
Winter Soldier. What was the one before Winter Soldier?
First Avenger.
Oh, not the first one. Not the first one.
Winter Soldier.
Maybe it was Winter Soldier. Yeah, it was Winter Soldier. That was it.
Okay. So you've got Marvel cred. That's fine. You got Marvel cred. That's all good. You're
Deadpool was great. Deadpool was actually really great. Yeah, Deadpool was fantastic.
What about Logan?
I like Logan. Yeah, I like Logan.
So you've actually seen more than you think you've seen. So.
No, but this was all post being.
That's okay, you're catching up.
Before it, I just hadn't got up.
You catch up. Now, how did Iron Fist come into both of your lives? I mean, when did you first hear about the project? And then once you learned about it, take us through that process, and then maybe the preps that you did.
I'm going to go for the next one.
I was actually cast after Finn. Basically, I had been talking with Marvel for a while, and I knew some of the casting directors, and I was really interested in coming into this world. And so I researched the best female roles that I thought might be made one day. And I made a list of badass characters, and Colleen was one of them. She eventually like number 2 or 3 on my list, I think. And I said, Iron Fist has been commissioned. I don't know if this character will be a part of it. If she is, I would love to audition for her. Here are all her characteristics. Cut to a year later, My agent says, right, so this project's coming, it's got a code name. The character's called Christine, but she has everything that you said, so I think that it's actually Colleen. And lo and behold, it was. I sent off a self-tape. In the meantime, Finn got cast, and I congratulated him, and then...
I've still got those messages on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you DM'd me through Twitter.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And I know one DMs you through Twitter, like it's a weird thing. So I'm sort of like, if I go to my DMs on Twitter, like it's still up there in the kind of like, you know.
But so that, yeah, Finn got cast. I congratulated him, and then it was a week or 2 weeks later. I was like, oh my gosh, you'll never guess who is coming to LA right now. I flew out. We auditioned together. We did a screen test. And I got back on a plane, and when I landed in London, I had a phone call from Jeff Lowe, head of Marvel TV, and he said, I have 3 words that are going to change your life forever. Welcome to Marvel.
Nice.
And the rest is
You mentioned the character you got, it was different names, and so I guess you get sides, there are different things, so sometimes you're just reading, it doesn't even have anything to do with it, you're testing chemistry.
Danny was Dylan Thomas. That was Danny.
a real actor.
Dylan Thomas.
Poet.
Oh.
Oh, boom.
Think you're up?
So close.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then
So what were the lines you were like, did you even know it was Marvel? I mean, did you?
Yeah,
okay,
I mean,
so
they give it code names.
It's not like some random
It's
project.
Netflix and Marvel. And they actually, when I got the audition come through, they gave me a link to the Marvel website with the actual character breakdown. So I knew exactly who I was auditioning.
Why did they even bother with the code name?
I was gonna say, because that kind of destroys it all right there. It's like, okay, by the way, here's this link too.
I think it's more for like people outside. It's more of a security issue for like
Okay.
hackers and things
Right,
like
right.
that, rather than the actual people auditioning. What was the question?
Well, just if you could sort of walk us through the audition process,
Oh,
because
yeah.
you're not reading actual scenes from that, so how are you, but
So
you had a
first-
sense of what it was though going in.
I know
Like,
exactly.
now it's like
what
it's
it was.
Iron Fist.
Well, I hadn't. So when I went into the auditions, I had dummy sides. I think I had 2 scenes. They wouldn't send you any scripts prior, so you wouldn't know what the story is or anything like that. I just had to go on a reference of their previous shows, Daredevil and Jessica Jones, and you know I checked those out and they were really great. So I was in, and I loved the character. The Iron Fist really suited. It really spoke to me, and so that allowed me to have a certain willingness to the role of the project. When I auditioned when the audition first came through, I was actually on my last day of Game of Thrones. I just finished my last day of the day, and I was in the airport on the way home, and I was kind of sitting there thinking, am I employed?
Now what? Yeah.
For the first time in 6 years, I had a job to kind of look forward to, and as an actor, that's pretty terrifying. Especially when you're, I was 28, and I was like, this is my time now. I either go on and I get a leading role in something, or and I further my career, or I'm just going to be one of those actors that does Game of Thrones, plays like a guest star for 6 years, and then does nothing. So it was pretty. I was just thinking things through. And as I was at the airport on my way back from Belfast, I get this email through from my agent for Iron Fist. And at first, the code name was Kick. So at first, I thought it was like a soccer thing, for like a soccer, and I was like, oh god, I don't like football, and I was like,
As we've established, sports was not.
I was like, a show about football, really? I was like, oh no, not really. Anyway, so I opened the thing up, and it said, okay, this is a secret Marvel project.
No, it's about Dylan Thomas, a star.
Yeah.
A footballer in the making.
Right.
Who trained in China.
Yeah.
And now he's coming to New York to claim the championship.
The Iron Trophy.
The Iron Trophy. And then, and so...
So you're looking, it's Marvel.
Yeah,
so
and then I opened up the link, because they sent a little link to explain who the character actually was, my agent did. And I started reading the character of Danny Rand, and as soon as I read that breakdown, I had this weird feeling in my gut that I think you only really have a certain number of times in your life where you just kind of go, this is it.
Yeah.
It's not even up there, it's something which is in here. I just knew then.
Okay, so when you're looking at that, this is what I'm curious about, because when you're looking at that, how was it explained, that character? Because it was, as we said, in the comic book, he's got it all together. He hits the streets of New York running, and he's got everything going on, and he goes in and he takes care of business. How was that explained to you? Because that is So it's fish out of water.
When my agent sent me the character breakdown, they sent me the character breakdown from the Marvel website. So it was the Marvel character base.
So you're the guy that had it all together.
But I guess when I got the audition sides, the two scenes that I got were the signs where there was one side where I was in the mental hospital with the doctor. So I knew that it was going to be something about like identity, like people not realizing my identity. And the second side was the argument with Ward in the car. So I knew he was going to be a little bit like off the hinges. But those were the only two scenes and the only idea of the character that I was given prior to actually getting the part. And then once I got the part, you only get the episodes 2 weeks in advance. Well, not even that, maybe a week and a half in advance of you shooting them. So really throughout Iron Fist and Defenders, you're really just picking up the character's journey as you're going along. But from what I was aware, you know, the character, and what I love about the character is that when we first see him, he isn't fully formed. You know, he's the youngest out of the Defenders. He doesn't even know what a superhero is yet.
He doesn't know what shoes are.
He doesn't know what shoes are either. You know, he's a complete fish out of water. And what I loved over those 21 episodes is you really get a chance to slowly evolve and grow this character into this guy here that's on the t-shirt that everyone knows. And that's the great thing about it.
And that's the thing I think people too. One of the things that struck me, and I think this for both of you, as you're cast, by the time you're cast to the time you're shooting, and if you've seen the series, you know how knockdown, drag out it is for both of you. It wasn't much time at all that you had to sort of prepare for this role, and especially the fight scenes.
We had to move countries. You know, I lived in London, so I had to, you know, essentially move homes, move lives. I think I had about a month and a half to do all that, to find a new apartment in New York, to get a visa, to like train, to, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it was really, and it was even.
And it was same with your, same time frame.
It was even crazy for Jess and Tom, who played Joy and Ward. They found out they were cast on, like, say, the Friday, and they were flying in and filming on the Tuesday.
Crazy.
Yeah, nuts. That's how TV works. TV is crazy fast. You know, people see this stuff and they think we get like hours and months to like prepare and work on this stuff, but really, you turn up and you do it. And so you just need to like be ready.
And so you know what you're getting into at this point because you were familiar with the character, so you knew what was going on. Talk about the training that you had to go through and such a compressed time frame and being able to learn these, because it's basically, hey, learn to fight like Bruce Lee in 15 minutes, right? As you're getting ready to shoot these things.
Well, I think it's different for Jess because you wasn't shooting the whole time. You know?
Yeah, so I had, after I was cast, I had about a month before I moved to New York, so a month to train, and I spoke to Brett Jones, our stunt coordinator, and I said, what should I start doing while I'm in London? And he said, you know, just general strength, like, I went and I took katana classes and I took Aikido, but the biggest thing was that they wanted me to like put on weight, but just muscle weight. So the majority of that month was actually just spent eating a lot of chicken. But then when I got there, yeah, I was fortunate that, in the first episode, I think I have like 2 scenes. So I had quite a lot of time to continue training with the team and just really immerse myself in that world, because it was so perfect for Colleen, because those stunt teams, the stunt actors, they're people who have devoted their lives to martial arts. And that was exactly what Colleen was. So it was actually a really fascinating sort of character insight. I kept picking up things like, oh, that's what they do, and this is how they act when they're not working out. And it was good fuel for me.
Were there any shortcuts that you were able to take with your trainers, with the stunt people, because it was such a tight timeline? Because you have to have known, like, you were training in Finland forever to hit the ground and be able to do these things, but you didn't have any martial arts background, did you?
Well, the thing with Danny as well is that what differs from the comic books to the show is that Danny actually hadn't trained that long in Kung Lao. The story is that he just attained the Iron Fist and then he legged it. Yeah. So actually, in the story, it makes sense for him to not be a fully formed Iron Fist, because that's the character. Like, he's like a teenager that's just like, all right, dude, he's reckless. So that's why I think, that makes sense for the character without show,
But did you have martial arts?
No.
Coming into it? Okay, how do you approach them? What questions did you have for the trainers and the
Well, the way you approach it is really as a dance. the choreography is a dance. You know, you're learning steps to a dance and a routine. So when you go in, you know, you learn what the movement steps are, and then you perform it. Yeah.
So I noticed even as the series progresses along, it seems like the fight scenes get more intense and more intense as they build. Did you, as you were going through, did everything just start to click for you and some of the moves that you were doing? Because it looked, even when you, especially when you get to, I think, episode 7, somewhere around there, and I think is that, I think around 7 or 8 is your big katana battle, the first one you had, I think, in the alley or something, and those just look phenomenal. I mean, what comfort level did you guys approach at that point?
I also think like a lot of emphasis is put on these shows on the fight scenes and stuff, and actually that's only a small part of it. Like the great thing about these Netflix shows is that they're actually about character development, and that's the reason why I took this role up, is because the character is a very different superhero to what we've seen. You know, he's someone that's eternally optimistic. You know, he's vulnerable. He's not perfect, and that's what I really admired about the character. But it seems crazy to me that there's always so much emphasis on the fight scenes and all that kind of stuff, when actually there's also a lot of really great character work that's underlining it all, which kind of gets forgotten about, you know, which is, I guess it's just the way these shows are, but it's a shame.
Some serious issues with these folks.
Yeah.
let's talk about some of those character development scenes and just getting the emotion of these beats when you're not throwing kicks and you know, jumping up walls and
That's great, but it was nice because we all had a good dynamic between all of the cast members. So it was really great to work with Jess and Tom, who played Warden Joy, and also Sasha, who played Davos, was really great to work with. And we all got on offset, and I think that really helps when you're very close offset. It's really easy to find chemistry on set. And I think, especially between me and Jess, because we knew each other beforehand, I think the chemistry between Danny and Colleen is really great because we had a connection beforehand.
And Jessica, we're talking about that dynamic between the two of you. That relationship does go through so many changes in just a few episodes. So what conversations did you and Finn have of just kind of approaching how you, because there's stuff that's revealed, like, you know what's coming, but he's not supposed to know anything about it.
Well, it's funny, they actually tried to keep it from Finn, but he found out, like, day one.
Okay, so apparently you didn't have all the scripts down.
The hand. Well, because I was told, but then we weren't meant to know, and someone spilled it at dinner, one of the producers. And so then it was like, oh, you know that? Oh, okay. Surprise. So we didn't really have any conversations because it was taken out of our hands.
Does that impact you as an actress? Because I know some actors don't want to know things. They want their characters to be revealed.
I
You prefer to know?
Yeah, I prefer
It's
to
very
know.
important to know the arc you're going on, so then you can start to play certain things. It's like, you know, when you perform a play, you need to read the whole play so you know what's happening at Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and how to chart your progress. If you don't have that, you're just like, well, where the hell is this train going? You know?
I agree.
Yeah. All right, let's turn it over to the audience. I'm sure we've got some questions. Yeah, let's go right over here.
Just touching base dovetail off that comment, similar to the leaks that happened with HBO, a lot of stuff getting taken. I'm hearing that they're going to start maybe not having the links where you can see all the information all at once to protect the integrity of the storyline. Would they stop you guys from knowing what's happening as well?
Well, they do. That's the thing. Marvel are very secretive and so secretive that you don't know what's really coming. I'm quite aggressive in finding out like what's happening with the character in the show. So I found out about, you know, what happened with Colleen. So I find my ways around it. But yeah, I have to. You know, it's my job. Like, I need to find out what's going on. But you know, and I understand why these companies are very secretive about their things, because it's a multi-million-dollar company, and if their secrets get out, then the competition is going to pick up on it. So I understand it, but as a creative, it's very difficult to work in that kind of corporate, secretive environment, you know. But it's just, you know, it's just one of the things that, you know, you have to get right.
The question right here.
Yes, who's number one on your list of Marvel characters you want to play?
I don't remember. No, I also don't. I don't want to say because one of my friends, like, we both auditioned around the same time, and I ended up getting Iris, and she got this other project, so I don't want to say.
Am I correct in saying that your katana training was from a Power Ranger?
Yes. Hiro
Can you explain the
Manami.
background on that?
Hiro Manami Rangers in Japan, absolute master swordsman, genius, extraordinaire, was my teacher. He's a real, they call him an OG. So it was like, when he came into the room, everyone's like, oh my god, I can't believe you're getting taught by the Nagi-sama. Because he doesn't give lessons. This is the thing about the experts in Kung Fu or Karate. It's very hard to get them because they don't, it's
sacred knowledge.
Yeah, it's sacred knowledge. It's very much like they want to be sure that you're worthy of this information because you can use it for.
Well, you can then dilute the information.
Yeah,
So it
you
doesn't
can
become as
twist
powerful.
it and warp it.
Yeah.
So it's so hard to find these things. So I was really lucky that even under some words.
What's more challenging for you, weapons training or hand-to-hand combat training?
Weapons training is harder for me. I kind of find hand-to-hand comes more naturally. Yeah, because a weapon is, it's not like, hand-to-hand, it's just, you're dealing with your own body. Once you put a weapon in, that's got its own weight, it changes the way that you move, it changes your speed, so you have to completely readapt. And with a katana, and it was the same with the bullwhip, I needed it to be an extension of my hand, I needed it to be second thought. I can't be there in the fight being like, uppercut and slice down, it has to be like so natural. So yeah, weapons are by far the hardest.
And Finn, you are the living weapon.
Yes.
So you just are your own weapon. So it's just all Finn training at that point. So how did they, are there multiple ways of getting are there multiple ways of getting the Iron Fist effect? I know it's like all CGI and the stuff in post, but some of that stuff looks really like you're wearing something.
What they do is, so there's basically, I have a bracelet which has like LED lights on it, and then it has a wire that goes up my arm and it goes round my waist, and on my waist they have a battery pack and a receiver. And someone in the corner dims up the light and dims down the light.
Do you want a dimmer?
There's a dimmer.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, and what that does is that allows like natural light reflection, so that when they do the make the Iron Fist in post, that it actually has natural light reflection, so it feels more realistic, it feels more natural.
And I'm assuming as we move into, and again, I haven't had a chance to binge it, but as we move into Defenders and Iron Fist Season 2, that will even out on both sides.
I don't know. That's
interesting. No one's asked that.
That's already a question for our new showrunner, Raven Metzner. And just to let you know, we've got a new showrunner for season 2. He's awesome. He's really great. He really loves the character. He really cares about the project, and he's got some really great ideas. We've both been speaking to him, and I'm actually super excited to get back to work and see the character evolve even further.
I want to ask you about the because Scott Buck was the showrunner
Yeah.
of season 1.
Yeah.
So how is it difficult kind of going in? Is there a new vision kind of coming in with the new showrunner?
It was the same for Defenders. Like I went to Defenders and we had a different showrunner on that as well. So really, it's actually quite liberating because what it allows you to understand is that the character is truly yours. You know, you are in the driving seat of this character, and it gives you a lot of freedom. But again, also there is a lot of I guess there can be a lot of uncertainty. But luckily, so far Marvel have brought on board really thoughtful, really passionate and creatively stimulating showrunners. Marco was fantastic, and so is Raven. So I can see it can, if say if they brought on a showrunner that wasn't great, it would be pretty terrifying. But luckily, we've been very lucky. Raven's awesome, and so is Marco.
Everybody's happy set.
Yeah, everyone's super happy.
That's always good to see. Right over here.
Seems like a lot of popular shows now, and if I don't know the background of the actor, then I see them in an interview and I find out that person is British. Yeah, the shows are popular by British actors, so how hard is it for you to do an American accent, and can you do other accents as well?
I'm actually pretty terrible at other accents. Some people can just some people just got a knack for it. I've been doing an American accent for a couple of years now because I was doing a lot of auditions back and forth, which had to have American accents. And then we have a dialect coach on set as well, who's there continuously in our ears, telling us that we've dropped our R's or we need to do something else. So we have coaches on set.
Do you base it on anyone, like any things you see, or certain try to watch a lot of New York type movies or things like that?
No, because I never really do that with performances, because then I think all you're doing is then replicating someone else's performance. I think it's far better to find something that speaks to you from within you and let that come out. So it's just kind of practice and just finding it in your own system.
Do you find yourself ever talking in your character's voice, especially when you're shooting? Like, do you like slip in and out of things, especially when you're doing 13, 14, 15-hour days, and you get off, and all of a sudden you're
Yeah, I
speaking?
guess recently a friend of mine came over to New York after I was filming for like 10 months, and I was at I was just out with them, and I kept on saying things that sounded American, and they were like, Finn, what's happened to you? You turned American. Like, it's not my fault. I'm like, half of the time I'm speaking American, so it's yeah, you do find yourself going there.
Do you find yourself slipping in and out from times? Or?
Yeah, sometimes. Same thing. It's just when you're spending months on end just speaking in one accent.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, even now when I'm listening to myself, I know I sound less British than I used to. My words are softened into this weird transatlantic, undefinable accent.
But isn't that becoming part of the character too? That like you find the character sort of taking over, and you're like, oh wow, I can
Yeah.
just sort of slip in and out like a
Yeah,
glove.
I'm never one to stay in accent between takes on anything.
Yeah, I think that's
tell you
weird.
what, that's weird. But on Game of Thrones,
It's hard to
actually, me, Keisha, who plays Alara, and Rosabelle, who plays my younger sister, as a joke, we stayed in our accents for ages, but we just kept like taking the piss. And we were reenacting our, we were saying the spin-off show, the Sounds of Ink spin-off show, but it was a comedy. So that was quite funny, but no, for the most part, I don't.
But you don't stay in character though, right? You
No,
know,
no.
those actors. Okay.
That's
But you ever work
TV.
with actors that stay in character?
Not on TV. TV,
Okay.
you can't do that kind of stuff. On a film, like say you're working with a certain director and like that's a part of like the process, then yeah. But in television, no one's got time for that.
Move on.
You can't. You just become a dick.
You get a
You become a dick. You're just like, oh my god, that guy is taking himself way too seriously.
We're a 15-hour day with this guy.
Yeah,
Please give him away.
totally. Like it's too much.
Yeah, right here.
With all the fight training that you've had for these roles, do you feel in real life that you could defend yourselves if you were in danger?
Yeah, I you know, yeah. I often, I'm fairly, I wouldn't say I'm a pacifist, but I don't like to resort to violence as a first kind of call of action. But you know, if I was walking down the street and someone tried it on with me, I really don't. Yeah, I would like to be in their shoes. Because I'm waiting to punch someone. I'm really waiting for it. I'd love to know what it feels like, but
Could you imagine the headline the next day? It's like, you know, Iron Fist.
I'd wear a mask.
Punches somebody.
I'd do a Clark Kent. I'd be like, alright, hold right there. I'd go into a phone booth or whatever it gets into. And
That's when the
Very
spandex
bad
comes
That's
out.
when the
That's
spandex
when the
comes out.
And do you feel comfortable enough with that?
Yeah, I like to think so. It's so hard to say when you're not in that situation, and thankfully, touch wood, I've never been in that situation, but I'd like to think that I'd be able to take care of
You
myself.
totally could.
You're speaking from experience too. Right here? Yep.
I have a question for Danny.
One of the same.
You've morphed into character. See, this is fine.
So how does the criticism of Iron Fist Season 1 influence you as an actor and your character going forward?
Do you know what? It doesn't really affect my performance or how I perceive the character. I've always perceived the character as who he is. I've always believed in the character, and I will continue to do so. So, you know, I understand who the character is, and I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people really, especially coming to these conventions, I think people really understand what we're doing with the character. And especially if you've seen Defenders all the way through, you'll know that the Iron Fist and Defenders is all like the first arc of Danny Rand, and that was always going to be the intention. And I've known that. So when the criticism came, it was just like, well, all right, hold on to your horses, guys. Just wait and see what happens with the character. And yeah, you know, it's water off my back. You know, people can do them. You know. I know, I've got this.
I think we saw that with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too. And when you think about a TV show, especially one as long as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there's a 3-part story arc, but those take hours and hours and hours to build on. And I think it was the same thing with season 1 with them. It was just hold your horses, everybody, take your time.
Society now where everyone wants everything now.
Yeah.
We want it now.
We
It's
wanna see
like,
them
guys, just enjoy it. You know, just sit back and just enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, turn it off. No one's making you watch it. Don't get angry about it. You know, just watch something else.
You don't have to pay $7.99 for Netflix.
No, do that. I want to say that.
Well, I think doesn't this too, with all the Marvel characters that are out there, doesn't this open the door that something like Iron Fist, with having Danny Rand established, doesn't this open the door to something like maybe Shang-Chi for future seasons?
Bring him on. Yeah.
I mean, have they talked at all about maybe even bringing in some of those other?
Hey, look, I'm just an actor. Marvel don't discuss any of that kind of stuff.
Apparently Jessica's or something, because,
No,
okay.
I think it'd be great.
Have you asked a question though? Like,
I have not, I haven't, and I wouldn't tell you if I had.
That's okay. We don't want Disney coming down upon us and Marvel coming down upon us. Right over here, yep.
What villain would you like Iron Fist to go against in season 2?
Oh, what villain? That's a good question. I actually like. I mean, this is kind of Mr. Potato Head. That would be pretty good. I think Davos is great. You know, we've kind of seen Davos in the first season of Iron Fist, and we're kind of seeing them. I like the idea that you know they used to be brothers, and at the end of Iron Fist they've kind of gone their separate ways, and they're not seeing eye to eye anymore. And I think there's a really interesting chance to really go into that a bit more. You know, I think that could be quite cool. Personally, on a like fantastical level, I'd love to see Dan go dark side, see him team up with someone like Thanos. Because you know it's Chi. You know it's Chi. Chi can be light and Chi can be dark. You know we have positive energy and we have evil energy. And I think it would be nice to see Danny really kind of go dark side and then come back through that. You know, and tell the story of how do you come back from that level of like
joining
darkness. Like who?
Like joining the hand.
I mean, well, you know. No, I think that's a bit too far.
Wouldn't you really rather he went after Cersei Lannister, though?
Yes! Yes! Get a bit of meta revenge.
We talked about some of these crossover things too, and I've asked other Marvel actors this before, is that it used to be, originally it was all connected. Because you had the movie universe, and then all of a sudden, you know, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all these things were connected, and the Netflix things, they were all in the same universe. And then, for a little while, it seemed to go away from that. And the TV thing was the TV thing, and the movie thing was the movie thing. How do both of you understand that, or do you put that into your thought processes? Can we pop into Avengers movies?
So I think it's a scheduling thing and a money thing. I don't think it's necessarily a creative thing. It would be nice to see that, but I really think when it comes down to it, I just think trying to align film schedules with television schedules is near impossible, especially with the Defenders.
Yeah, because we've seen the movie characters jump into the TV universe. Yeah, I mean, we've seen Samuel Jackson, and we've seen Lady Sif, and
What did Samuel Jackson come into?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they've done that, but then it's
well, maybe it's not that then. Look, these questions you're asking us actors like we know stuff. We know nothing. We know nothing. They don't tell us shit. So really, you can ask us all you. This happens in secret private rooms up in a tower somewhere with lots of locks on the door.
and tower, yes. All the way at the back here, yes.
How would you describe your relationship or your dynamic with Luke Cage? And do you think, moving forward, would you see crossovers like Danny and Luke Cage, or Luke Cage and Iron Fist?
I think it's certainly a possibility. I think now that we've all met in Defenders, I think it definitely opens up for all of us to kind of start seeing each other more, which is super exciting. I love the relationship between Danny and Luke. I think it's incredibly relevant right now that we have an on-screen relationship like that. It has the chance to be super powerful, but also at the same time, you know, not just having like social relevance. I think it's a lot of fun, man. Like it's a lot of fun between the two characters, and as we see in the Defenders, it's just we're starting to create those elements, you know. And I'm super excited about the future for those two characters.
We've seen the relationship between Colleen and Danny in the current season. It's been up and down, to say the least. I think they've announced, too, that Simone Missick is Missy Knight, who's going to be joining in season 2. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think in the comics, didn't Danny have a relationship with her?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And Colleen was a good.
Yeah, so, I know you can't tell us anything, but if you would like to see the storyline going somewhere, what would you like to see happen if you were writing those relationship stories?
I think it's weird for both of us to interchange relationships. That would be a bit creepy.
Yeah. Defenders, call it the swingers instead.
Yeah, that's a whole other story, yeah.
That's for the fan fiction for you guys to write.
That one would be on HBO.
Oh my gosh, please write me some fan fiction. I want.
Yes, you don't.
You've
I
just
do.
opened the floodgates.
Oh my god, this is a public call. I want to read Colleen fan fiction.
There's your private messages on Twitter. Yeah, wait till those ones start coming in.
Good luck.
Another question here? All the way in the back. Right
Yeah, I mean, you know, one of the great things about the two characters is me and Mike get on incredibly well. Like we just have, like, Mike is, you wouldn't think it, but Mike is super goofy. Like he's you know, he's just a big lovable giant, and he's you know, he's a really great guy, as are all the other defenders. But yeah, we all hang out off set and when we're not in characters, and definitely I think as I get to know the actors more, our connections are growing, and that's definitely the case for me and Mike. I love Mike, he's a great guy. Really great guy.
up here.
With Game of Thrones, how was your last day in one of both? You accepted bail. How was that your last few days?
Yeah, do you want to? I've been speaking way too much.
My last day was the very last shot, which is the wide shot where it was just after Christmas. I think it was like the 3rd or 4th of January. It was very, very cold, very windy, and it was one shot, and I waited like 6 hours to film it. And then they put me up on the rig, and originally they wanted to tie it around my neck and string it up. But when we had done the fight, I got into a bit of an onset accident where I actually got choked for real. And so I didn't realize how I kind of had this sort of PTSD, and so they put it around my neck, and I was like, fuck, get it off, get it off, get it off. And so that's a CG whip in that last scene, because I couldn't bring myself to do it. And of course it's just hard. You're 40 feet up, it's blowing, gusting wind, and you have to keep your eyes open and staring and not moving. And they wanted this as well.
No one should ever put themselves in danger just to create movies and television shows.
Yeah.
Like, your health comes number one.
Yeah.
And if you feel unsafe on set, you need to call that shit out, because it's just not worth it. Your life is not worth it.
And you watch it and you can't tell it's CG at all. So
exactly, they can do all that stuff in post.
yeah, so that was my last day on set, and it was kind of a shame because I wanted my last day to be with Keisha and Rosabelle, but that's not actually Keisha who's into the ship. It was a big secret. It's actually a stunt double.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because they basically said whoever is doing the Keisha part, Ibarra, we can't keep bringing her up and down, so she had to stay up there for the whole 6 hours in the freezing cold.
Stunt people go through it,
With
man.
the spin,
They
with
go
the back.
through it.
And so it was a double. They just didn't want to do it to Keisha. So,
Yeah. And I got to say, actually, right now, the stunt doubles on Defenders are so awesome. Like, they rough it for the show, and they don't get enough acknowledgement. So
and it was
just
like a
gotta put that
hard
out there.
winter shoot. And
Oh,
they just do
I remember doing that fight scene at the beginning with Electra's double, Lauren.
in the rain.
In the rain, and God, I don't know how she did it. She was in this like long coat, and it was just like wet. It's like so wet. And she was just being thrown on the ground again and again and again for like 8 hours, like again and again and again.
And the thing is, our costumes aren't warm.
No, they're not.
Our costumes are we're not wearing winter clothing. I'm always in Lululemon. And it's like, Lululemon is not for winter.
Yeah, it looks good.
It looks great, but yeah, so.
I think we're gonna wrap
There
this
you
up.
go.
Yeah, get you guys downstairs.
All right.
So I want to ask, when do you go into production on Iron Fist season 2?
We don't know yet, but I think it's going to be towards the end of the year sometime.
Okay.
We actually start training next week, so this is the nice thing about season 2 moving forward, is that we're starting our training like this early on. So I'm really excited to bring.
We're looking forward to Defenders. You're going to be downstairs signing just for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to 5, so come by and say hi. Yeah. Thanks very much. It's cold in here. First peanut butter next to